Gagged will. Freedom of will. BD0907 from May 11, 1939, taken from book number 18. The entire universe has to obey my will, and thus I direct every star and every grain of sand according to the law which has existed from eternity and emerged from my will and became a reality through my omnipotence and wisdom. This is an incontrovertible fact which no other being can shake, for every being is also subject to this law, because it is likewise something created by me, always and constantly controlled, which emerged from my will of love and thus is enlivened by me and my strength. And thus there is no being and nothing in the universe which does not carry my will within itself and thus has to comply with it. Only in a certain state of maturity do I withdraw my will from the being to the extent that I leave free will in its actions and thoughts. That I certainly determine its path of life and shape all life and experience around it such that it is conducive to its higher development, but that I give it complete freedom to shape its inner life and thus in no way have a determining effect on the being. And this is of utmost necessity, but it must also explain to you why the overwhelming spiritual adversity could occur on earth and how I cannot compulsorily influence the human being's will if the law of eternity is not to be overturned. Only free will can bring about the final redemption of the being, otherwise the spirit out of God would be gagged in itself and thus rage against itself. In order to grasp this you must be in the state of light, for it is so overwhelming and cannot be made fully comprehensible to you humans on earth. Only one thing should become clear to you, that the human being's struggle on earth is such a difficult and significant one precisely because I have to respect the freedom of will and thus can only intervene in all other events in order to make this will of yours so submissive, that it enters my will of its own accord. Yet then the earthly path will also be a blessing. But humanity recognizes my will less and less and therefore cannot be left without help either, and if I send them help from above they reject it and let their will rule again without submitting it to mine. And the struggle for my children will become increasingly more difficult because they lack love. For where love is there will also be recognition, for there I can work directly. Whose will is docile and entirely subordinate to me and therefore no obstacle will be placed in the way of my working from above there, for anyone who seeks me will find me, and anyone who is active in love will also grasp my love and mercy. The human being feels infinitely small compared to my omnipotence, he humbly and pleadingly takes the right path which leads to the Father of all, and his own will has brought him salvation through love. Amen.